One of the reasons why Juice WRLD's music was loved by everyone was because how real his feelings were, and you knew behind every song he wrote there was a dark, twisted love story that took place in his life, which caused him to pour out every emotion into his songs, making him one of the greatest artists in recent years. However, as I stated, these stories were real, not fabricated fantasies he made in his head, with every single song he wrote being an experience in many of his past toxic relationships. Whether it was being cheated on by his freshman girlfriend while he was a senior, or his troubles with substances that his fiancée promoted.
I'm sorry, what?
An experience in many of his past toxic relationships. Whether it was being cheated on by his freshman girlfriend while he was a senior, or
This nigga was dating a freshman as a senior. Oh, hell nah, bro. Say it ain't so. He was one of them, where my hug at? Oh my gosh.
or his troubles with substances that his fiancée promoted, Juice was the victim of many toxic relationships. So what happened in these relationships? How did Juice WRLD suffer so tragically with every girlfriend he had? And ultimately, were these dark past experiences a big reason for Juice's death? Many of you will know the iconic album Goodbye and Good Riddance, Juice WRLD's debut studio project, where he explains the struggles he deals with in the relationship he is in. Now, the girl he was talking about in these songs was his ex, called Bella, with the album actually originally being uploaded to SoundCloud with the cover and title Fuck You Bella. The two started dating on the 20th of October in 2016, which can be confirmed by this Twitter post celebrating their 1-month anniversary, where Bella posted a tweet captioned, "Even though you look like a burnt peanut sometimes, you're still the one. Happy 1 month." Where she attached 4 images of them. And damn, she kinda cooked him with that one. At this point in time, Juice was a senior about to turn 18, while Bella was still a freshman at 14 years old. Now, I'm not here to slander a dead man, but
What? Oh nah, what?
it's just something that is constantly brought up when I was researching their relationship. Now, the two wouldn't be together for long, as they would break up around the March of 2017, which can be seen from a series of tweets released by Juice WRLD relating to heartbreak and wanting to get his girlfriend back, with some of them reading,
This nigga pressed over a 14-year-old. Bro, I don't even want to continue this video.
"I'm really living my nightmares right now. I want her
Those
like I
songs were about a 14-year-old. Oh my gosh.
never had her. If I hurt you, I'm sorry." Now, with this burst of tweets around the 17th of March, this is a day people speculate they broke up, but we never actually got a reason why. A fan on Reddit stated that apparently she cheated on him, but that is not confirmed, and she would actually speak about this later down the line. Something else that happened on the 17th of March was the first Juice WRLD Nick Mira produced song would be released, called Too Much Cash, which obviously was an important moment in Juice WRLD history, as the two would go on to make legendary songs together. The following day after the song released, on the 18th of March, Juice would perform at his first show, which he would celebrate by posing, holding the $100 bill he earned from the show. He would also reference his first show in the song Fall Back, released in the April of 2017, with the lyrics, "Last night I had my first show, it was too rad. Even though I only made 100 in all cash, whole crowd jumping to my music and all that. Rockstar status, baby, that's what you call that." On the 24th of March, Juice would then tweet, "You were supposed to be my Cali girl," which references their recent breakup and the upcoming trip he and Bella were supposed to take to California. But of course, they broke up, so she never went with him. Damn, can Americans fly at 14 by themselves? Anyway, however, Juice still ended up going, which inspired his SoundCloud project, Heartbroken in Hollywood, released on the 12th of April in 2017. At first, it was released under the name Bella Broke Me, but was later switched to Heartbroken in Hollywood. This EP featured only 2 songs, Fall Back and Hollywood Dreams. It was seen as a bit unusual that the project only had 2 songs, even though it was released as an EP on SoundCloud. However, fans came up with a theory that it was because Bella was holding him back from his dreams, therefore only needed 2 tracks to tell the story. During this period, Juice WRLD was already a sad emo rapper, as that was the wave back in the day. However, this breakup ultimately left him very depressed, which fortunately for him and for us led to him making some of the greatest music of his generation. After his and Bella's breakup, he would first release the project Juice WRLD 999 on the 15th of June in 2017, the 8-song EP featuring the hit song Lucid Dreams, which of of course, as we know, changed his career, appearing on 18 charts for 509 weeks straight, getting certified diamond and having 2.5 million streams on Spotify in the current day. After a self-titled EP, he would release binge drinking music and Nothing's Different towards the end of 2017, with the latter project containing another one of Juice WRLD's hit songs, All Girls Are the Same. Now, just over a year after they broke up, on the 23rd of May in 2018, Juice WRLD would release Goodbye and Good Riddance, which was originally supposed to be released as Fuck You Bella. However, I'm guessing after signing to a label and also not wanting to harass his at the time 14-year-old ex-girlfriend publicly, he changed it. But someone on his label, responsible for releasing the project, messed up and posted the album to streaming services as Fuck You Bella, with also the cover also having red large text of the album title and the interludes also being aimed towards Bella. Shortly after this, it would be changed though, and Juice would DM Bella apologizing to her, saying someone forgot to change the preset and it wasn't even his idea. And after the album was released, that was the last time we would hear of Juice and Bella. Well, that was up until he tragically passed away in the December of 2019, where Bella made an Instagram post where she released a gallery of pictures and videos of them, captioned, "There are a million different things I could say right now." Then 6 months after his passing, she would make another post with a fat paragraph explaining how she was saddened by his passing. She would further explain how the two actually had a healthy relationship. She would also clarify the cheating rumors in a comment, as a fan asked, "Why did you guys break up? Were you cheating?" To which she replied with, "If I just said I didn't, then I didn't. Did he ever say I did? No." Which I guess showed the rumors up about her cheating. Now, we really don't know the ins and outs of this relationship like the ones he had later in his life, especially as it was a bit of a just flingy high school relationship. However, from the music he made and the tweets he posted, we can see even though they were together for such a short period of time, their breakup had a detrimental effect on him, which led to him making some insane music, leaving an impact on the world forever. So shout out Bella. Sorry to interrupt the video, but if you're enjoying so far, I'd appreciate if you could subscribe, like, and comment. I'm trying to get to 30k subs ASAP, so I'd appreciate that. Let's get back to the video. After Juice ended things with Bella, someone new was slowly coming into the picture, which would end up changing his life for the better or the worse. Alexia Smith, better known as Starfire, had a life ahead of her when being introduced to hip-hop's new superstar, Juice WRLD. She just left Florida to go back to her hometown in Chicago. Starfire started creating music in 2017 and wanted to continue her passion by going to a new recording studio where she could record, make friends, and network. However, while at the studio, she would meet an old friend who was actually an engineer. He recognized her and told her to contact this artist who he thinks she would get along with, as they made similar music to each other.
We all made music and hung out there, and he was like, "Yo, you need to meet this guy, like you guys are gonna get along, like you guys are just gonna click, just trust me, you have to meet him, okay?" And so I listened.
At first, she doubted even texting him, as she thought he wouldn't want to work with her, or he may not even respond at all. However, she then saw Juice show up on her Insta timeline, in which she took as a sign to message him, and to her surprise, he would reply. They would both go back and forth, quickly forming a strong bond. They clicked so well that she decided to meet him in LA just 2 days after messaging him. Once meeting in LA, they would officially get together almost immediately because everything was aligning for the two. Star said they both quickly fell in love, and Star was seemingly a good influence on the Chicago rapper. There have been numerous songs towards a relationship, one of the songs literally being titled Starfire, where Juice is saying, "And for you, I will fly through the flames, always, always love you always." And Starfire, you set my heart on fire, 420 blaze. However, even though the two's relationship was going well, there would also be many situations behind the scenes where they had many dark incidents. As the two would eventually break up sometime in the summer of 2018, which was just supposedly due to toxicity in the relationship, well, shortly after they broke up, everything about their relationship would start coming out into the public. In an interview with Benny Blanco in late 2018, Juice would expose something he did while in the relationship with Starfire.
So I stopped talking to her. I was supposed to actually link with her and shit, but I stopped talking to her because I saw this other girl who was real beautiful. So I was like, nah, fuck this. I'm gonna vibe with this type shit, right? And wow, all this was going on when I was with my ex. She's gonna find out I cheated.
Nothing has to.
Oh no, I want this to come out.
It's all in the past.
It's all in the past. I'm happily in a relationship now, a loyal one.
Now in that clip, Juice stated that he cheated on Starfire as he met a new girl who actually was Ali Lotti, who I will talk about later on. Due to this video clip from Juice WRLD, Star would release a now deleted video titled "The Ugly Reality of My Last Relationship," where she exposed their dark past.
And so his excuse for cheating on me is that I treated him bad and that I said mean things to him. Basically, I'm debunking that excuse. So now he's left with no excuses at all except the fact that he's an asshole.
One of the first bumps in their relationship, which Star talks about, was when Bella, Juice's freshman ex-girlfriend, would get in contact with her, where Star confronted her as Bella was supposedly asking Juice for free concert tickets. Now, Juice was tell Star beforehand that she's just a 17-year-old girl he dated in high school, but things simply didn't go well between the two. But after Star messaged Bella, she learned that when they dated, allegedly Bella was 14 and Juice was turning 18. And I'm just saying allegedly because I don't want to get into trouble, but if you compare both their dates of birth, that was their ages while the two were together. After Starfire found out Juice was dating a 14-year-old, this is what she had to say.
So yeah, I did tell him that I hated him. I told him that I thought he was a bad person, you know, because I don't stand behind these 18, 19, 20-year-old men fucking on 13, 14, and 15-year-old girls. That's crazy. Like, there's such a big, like, difference, like, in your head with maturity, with your innocence level, with things that you're exposed to. And, like, in my opinion, that's just really fucked up, and I don't stand behind that at all.
Starfire found about this months deep into their relationship, and to say the least, she was mortified. She felt like she didn't even know who Juice was.
I was already dating him at this point. We were months into a relationship, and I was freaking out because I was like, okay, like, do I not even know my boyfriend? Like, who is this guy? Like, do I not know you at all? Because he was lying. He tried to tell me that she was lying, but I was like, bro, no, because, like, I went through her, like, Twitter, I went through her pictures, I started, you know, like, girl mode, I started stalking shit, and I seen pictures of them together. They were still there.
She would then say he was allegedly a mega liar.
That's all he does is lie. He lies to me, he lies to you guys, he lies to his mom, he lies to everybody.
And after this, Star basically wanted to break things off with him due to the things he said, which is when he would start crying and throwing up. And like, damn, I mean, I guess they didn't have Andrew Tate back in 2018.
He was crying, he was bawling his eyes out, he was throwing up, he begged me to learn to forgive him. He begged me not to leave. So I said okay, and that I'd stay, because I loved him, you know?
So now they're months in this relationship, they had a small bump, but Juice apologized. Star forgave him, and it seems like everything was fine. Well, that wouldn't be the case.
Then, a couple weeks later, I still didn't trust him, because things just seemed sus. Like, he just seemed sketchy at this point. I didn't trust him. And so he started making songs about how I couldn't learn to forgive him. He was trying to flip the script, turn the tables, make it my fault, right? That's manipulative as fuck. That's another red flag that I didn't pick up on.
So now Juice was allegedly lying the entire time. He tried to flip the script on her and tried to make it seem like she was the one that was being the toxic figure. She would then explain how Juice apparently forced her to drop out of school as he could provide for her. She would even show text messages from this incident, which read, "I'm going back to school like in school in September. Like I can't just go everywhere with you all the time forever because then I'd have like no job, no degree and be a bum doing nothing, sob emoji. Not true, LMAO. I would help you get to your career goals. No bum shit, Lamau. Heart. Success together, tight sheet." Now the way she said in that video, it made it seem like Juice literally forced her to drop out, like drop out or I'm doing this, no. But it was actually up to her. He just provided the opportunity that she can just basically live off him. He never forced her. She would then explain further about Juice's weird behavior.
He was very controlling. He wanted me there with him constantly. Every show, every flight, every meeting, every car ride, every studio session.
Lover boy for real.
Everything. Over time, he also had
some
me
lover boys be controlling as hell. They get to controlling where they literally want you to be their pet
in my
almost.
apartment because he said we were gonna get a house together. We didn't. That was another lie. We were literally homeless, living out of a suitcase for 6 months, and that was terrible because I needed an address. I have BPD. I have borderline personality disorder. It's like kind of like bipolar, like depression, and the lifestyle we were living was making me very sick. Like I needed medication or therapy because like it was giving me anxiety and it was making me very depressed. And since I wasn't working or in school or had a home, it made me feel worthless and it made me feel like I was living off of somebody else's, and that is not what I wanted to do. I'm a very independent person and I wanted to be put into a position where I could make my own money and do my own thing, and that's just like not what was going on at all.
Now I'm not exactly sure what she meant by took her apartment, but apparently he promised to get them a house, which I don't think was a lie, because him and Ali Lottie later down the line did end up getting a house together. Anyways, him and Starfire, they were together while he was blowing up, meaning he was traveling around the globe, performing, recording, meeting new people. He wasn't going to settle down in some apartment while he was blowing up. In this next segment, she would then explain how apparently Juice was giving her sweets, which she then got addicted to.
After a while, I started to not really care because he started giving me these that I never did before. that I ended up addicted to. And so I was just high, you know, all the time, not really giving a fuck, just kind of like floating along. But to be honest, deep down I was like really depressed and I really needed help. And I told him this, like I started literally having suicidal thoughts, and I told him this, like I was scared of what was going on in my head. He didn't give a fuck. He didn't care.
Now, I'm not really sure what to think of this. Yeah, Juice apparently gave her sweets and some substances, but again, I doubt he was forcing these down her throat. She had the choice of taking them. And then, as well, she tried to blame the addiction on him. I mean, it was probably a bad choice from her to become so reliant on someone who was a sweet addict himself. The dude probably didn't know what was going on half the time, apart from the fact he needs to perform and record music. He could barely take care of himself, let alone another person. Star then exposed Juice for basically stealing her money and making more promises that he wouldn't keep.
I also
Boy, was that boy off? It was either the edibles, weed, the codeine. Oh my, he was always in a whole nother universe in them damn recording videos. Buddy rapped for what, like several hours straight? High.
didn't have a job. I don't know if I mentioned that
Crazy.
earlier or not, but I didn't have a job. Jared made me quit. I was following him everywhere, but then he was using my money still, and it's like, why are you comfortable spending my money when I don't have a source of income? Like, he didn't have a debit card, he didn't have a phone, he didn't have a car, he didn't have a house, he didn't have shit. So I would have to put my debit card down at the hotels, right? And then I would check my card, and all of a sudden it'd be negative 500, negative 500, negative 500, negative 500. And there were smoking fees from the hotel. I told him, I sent him screenshots, I told Bibby, I told these people, and they didn't do anything. He still has not paid me back to this day. In a total, he owes me probably about $10,000. Like, right before we broke up, he made me leave all of my clothes at his mom's house because he said that he'd buy me new ones. Guess what? Another lie. He didn't. I ended up having to spend some of my own money to pay for that shit. I wasn't even using him for money. I was very comfortable bringing a suitcase to LA and having my own clothes here. But he was like, no, don't bring a suitcase. Like, I'll buy this shit for you. Like, don't bring it. Like, that way we can get through the airport faster, whatever. So, and I didn't want to argue. So I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I'll leave it. Cool.
Now, this was definitely weird from Juice, and I can't think of a reason why he would do this. I'm pretty sure around this time he signed a fat deal with Grade A and was also blowing up. He had more than enough money. What do you mean he didn't have a phone or a debit card? Either she's lying, or I'm guessing maybe because he was touring and traveling so much, he just didn't bring his card with him, as it would have been too much of a hassle to keep around. Now, if you think what Starfire has said so far is bad, well, just wait, because it gets worse.
At this point, we were already fighting all the time. Shit was bad. But then guess what? It got worse. We started getting physical with each other, and it was both ways. I admit it. And it opened up the door to something that could have potentially been very scary. I would like to make it clear right now that he never beat me. He never put a fist to my body. But he has definitely picked me off the ground, slamming me into the wall and squeezing me so tight that I had bruises all over my arms, little fingerprints.
God damn, yeah, he might as well have punched you. That sounded crazy. Slamming all that, like it was Brock Lesnar versus AJ Lee type beating.
He shoved me into a bathtub where I hit my head on the wall. When we were fighting on the tour bus, it was to the point that his friends had to pull him off of me, and I ended up with a bruise and cuts on my leg that were so bad that I had a scar on my leg for months. That bruise was there, honestly, for probably 4 weeks. I remember at the VMAs, his manager came up to me and he was like, "What happened to you?" And I was like, fuck, I didn't even notice. I was so used to it at this point. So I put makeup all over it. Honestly, I shouldn't have even gone.
Now, as I stated previously in the video, I'm not here to slander a dead man, and you should be taking everything she says with a grain of salt, as there is no evidence, it's just word of mouth. However, she states that his friends and manager saw this as well, so I doubt it's not true. After this, Starfire would start wrapping things up by explaining their breakup.
Fast forward to when we actually broke up. I broke up with him twice. The last time I did, he ran out and got a tattoo for me on his neck. I'm pretty sure there's a video of it. He was with Trippy in the studio, it might be on YouTube or something. And then we were physically fighting, and he just started crying, holding on to me, and I promised him, I was like, babe, I'll be right here, because he was gonna go to a show, and I was staying back to get my hair done, and I was like, I'll be right here when you get back, I promise. He made me wait in LA for 2 weeks, telling me he was coming back, and he never came back.
Damn.
I was literally left with nothing. I was jobless, I was homeless, I had no clothes, I had no money, I had nothing. He broke up with me through a text, and never called once. To this day, he has never called me.
After this video was posted online, Juice would take it to Twitter and excuse his actions by claiming he was treated poorly and how now with Ali Lotti, his relationship is better than anything else he's been in. So it seems like they had a very toxic relationship, and from what Starfire said, it was predominantly Juice's fault due to his lies and false promises. Now, some of you might think, well, she's just making it seem like he did these things to make him seem bad. But Juice made songs about these situations with him and Starfire. In the song Alright, recorded on the 15th of June in 2018, Juice said, "She know when I'm telling a lie, she told me I'm like all those other guys," which is him referencing the many lies he told her. Then in that same song, "I hate being reminded of my past, it's not like it's easy to forget, you're hanging it over my head, for Christ's sake, teach yourself how to forgive," which could have been him referencing the incident when Starfire found about Bella, the fact he hates when people bring up his past, which is his old relationship with Bella. Then "you're hanging it over my head, for Christ's sake, teach yourself how to forgive," it's him explaining that Starfire made such a big deal out of it, using it against him, then complaining she won't forgive him for his actions. However, in the song Bad News, fans theorized at one point either Star had a miscarriage or cheated on him, as in the lines, "I remember I was in New York when you called me, I got some bad news. When you called me and you said what you said, that shit hurt. Yeah, that hurt the worst. Said it was accident, I hope that wasn't on purpose. Only been 6 months but it feels like years." Now these lyrics shouldn't be taken with 100% certainty, as of course, many of them may have not been directly speaking about events that happened with Starfire. But with all this evidence, it's more than obvious their relationship was turning sour. But after they broke up, the two would interact again. It was only after Juice's passing in 2019 where Star would start posting about him shortly after he died. A couple of days after his passing, on the 10th of December, she would sell an exclusive story to the Daily Mail about the relationship and Juice's sweet addiction. During the interview with Daily Mail in 2019, breaking down in tears, Star said, "7 days away from me, he ended up in hospital. When he was away from me for 7 days, he ended up hospitalized from collapsing on stage. 1 year away from me, and he's dead." She also believed he took up to 3 of the painkillers at a dose of 30 milligrams at a time on top of sipping lean, which is just insane. And this was back in like 2018, 2017. So imagine the doses he was on in 2019, just before his death. She would then blame Juice's mental illness on him relying heavily on these substances, saying even when he had every reason to be happy, he still wasn't, and that's obviously mental illness. If you have family, girlfriend, money, you have the job that you want, but you're still unhappy at that point, your brain isn't working properly and you need professional help. Now it was when Starfire mentioned the fact that Juice promised to stay alive for her, was when his girlfriend at the time, Ali Lotti, would get pissed off and start coming at Star.
"He didn't like you. You literally ruined him. When I met him, you brought him so low, he didn't even know what to do with himself. The things he confessed to me and told me about you and about him and about the relationship
cannot be compared to what you did. Oh my gosh, I hope this is up to date, because boy, the amount of stuff she was doing after he died.
And about everything. And this, you have to understand, me and Jared were friends for at least a year before we ever even saw, met, hooked up with each other. I have plenty of text messages. He used to come to me crying about the stupid shit.
As we can see, Star's and Juice's relationship went downhill, and Starfire continues to make it worse after he died. There were many allegations in this relationship, and it's hard to see what bits were actually true. But luckily for Juice, after Starfire, he met his fiancée, Ali Lotti. Now, while Juice WRLD was alive, the two seemed like hip-hop's Romeo and Juliet, and like the sad boy Juice WRLD we all know, finally changed his ways and seemed happy. But unfortunately for him, it seemed like he didn't know who his fiancée actually was. So this poses the question, who actually was Ali Lotti? Well, firstly, it seemed like she just wanted the attention of any rapper she could get her hands on. She used to hook up with Smoke Perp during his peak in 2017, shared her affection for Offset and Trippie Redd on Twitter as well. Before she met Juice, she even recorded herself listening to All Girls Are The Same on the radio, saying she needs to stop listening to the radio, she needs to stop fucking rappers, and make her own lyrics to the song, saying, "You've got a small dick."
And this is why I can't listen to the fucking radio. I need to stop fucking rappers. You have a small dick.
So that gives us some perspective of the kind of person she was in the past.
Country friend from Alabama was the one who showed me Jared, and I remember him playing me 2 songs, and then we went back to this house, and it was like a couple of us there, and they were like, "Yeah, no, listen to Lucid Dreams." I remember sitting there in this guy's house, like watching this video, and I'm like,
whoever the fuck this kid, like I couldn't even make out his face or who he was, right? I was like, I don't know who the fuck this kid is.
Now, as she just stated, that this is the first time she has ever heard of Juice WRLD, where she explains how she loved his music, which is very contradicting to the video I just showed you previously, where she was hating on it.
So I saw his music video and I was like, I'm gonna play this shit. I don't care what studio I'm in, who I'm around, like I'm playing this shit. I was working at the club. I made them play like this. I was like, this shit is so fire. Like, you know, this is gonna be huge. And then I remember messaging him, and I had messaged him, and I was like, hey, I don't know, because when I did, he had like barely any. He had like, I wouldn't let anyone add. I didn't like social media. You know what I mean? So I remember being on his social media. I'm like, you have no followers. Like for people that I would normally like be like, is this your song? I thought it was like a fan page. But it was actually, he was just that new that like no one knew him yet. And I'm like, I remember being like, I don't know if this is your like real page, but like whoever the fuck this Juice WRLD person is fucking fire. Like this music is like, keep it up. Like don't fucking stop. This shit's so good.
So as Ali just explained, she first ever heard of Juice WRLD as she liked his music before he blew up. So she contacted him on Instagram and they started going back and forth. A couple months down the line, the two would form a very close bond, especially over their mental health.
And just would talk to each other here and there. And then as time went on, he would go ahead and talk to me more about what he was doing when it came down. Like he's like, I'm upset, and I'm like, okay, what's up? You know what I mean?
You're not used to guys hitting you with shit like that?
Yeah, no. Bro, you're just having a panic attack. Like, sit down. Like, he's like, what do you mean a panic attack? Like, no one knew around him what he was going through. I have anxiety. I have things like that. Like, a lot of mental, when it comes down to that mental health. But I'm very aware of it. So I make sure that I have things that I would need for that.
Eventually, they would meet up, and once they met up, Ali said Juice basically kidnapped her, as once she met up with him, he didn't want her to leave.
Jared literally, he kidnapped me is the only way we could say it. Like I don't own anything from my house except for my dogs.
Like he wasn't trying to have you leave. He was just like, I
no, he
want
did not
your presence.
let me leave.
Right.
Like I couldn't go get underwear from my old house. I didn't know. He bought me brand new everything. I didn't leave. Because then we were on a next tour. I had to go to Tokyo with him, or he wasn't going to go and do the tour in Tokyo.
After all this playing about, Juice wanted to make things official, which is when one day in a hotel with Ali, he wrote her a note. Do you like me? Circle yes or no. If you like me, still be here when I get back upstairs, and if you don't, I'm sorry, you're pretty, bye. He slid it under her door, and guess
why? And I used to, oh my gosh, I used to mess with this dude heavy, bro. Why are these things coming out now?
what? She didn't leave. Shortly after, they would move out to Juice's $6 million mansion in LA and got her 2 dogs flown out to the house, where the two would settle. Now on social media, they seemed happy, healthy, got tattoos in memory of each other, and at one point even got engaged. However, behind the cameras, it was awful. The two would be both drowning themselves in sweets and substances, leading to many mental health issues, and Ali having 3 miscarriages, with one of them being after he died. Now many fans tried to blame Ali for basically taking advantage of Jared, as he was 19 and she was 25 when they got together, and she also has a history of dating rappers. But I don't think that was the case. Personally, from when he was alive, you could see that they genuinely loved each other. There was none of this hoe stuff. Fans also tried to blame her for feeding him these sweets and substances. They even made compilations on YouTube of times she was supposedly a bad influence on him. But again, they were both addicts, and at one time, Ali literally left Juice as he wouldn't stop abusing these substances, where he had to stop using and plead her to come back. So Ali definitely wasn't the issue. I mean, Ali got them to regularly attend doctors before he died and had blood work sessions booked 2 weeks after his death. Ali even explained how Juice WRLD desperately wanted to have a child.
Was going to the doctors like for a couple months. I didn't let him. He wanted to have a kid literally. You need to wait. You need to if you could take care of dogs before you get me fucking pregnant, because I'm 26. I've been waiting. I'm good. I'm good. Unless you show me you're going to be the best dad in the world, I don't want... Go ahead, go in there. I don't want to have a kid.
Now look, while Juice was alive, they were happy without a doubt, but unfortunately after Juice's tragic passing in the December of 2019, it seemed like Ali Lotti didn't care to hold down Juice WRLD's legacy. She would firstly turn to a bit of a psycho, going on Instagram Live multiple times, creating the conspiracy theory that Juice WRLD's death wasn't caused by an overdose.
I'm mad because literally I'm like, oh, blah, 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 you guys think he died from a drug overdose. You're wrong!
You're wrong. Literally, you're wrong. So suck a dick. Okay? Suck a dick. There's a lot of shit y'all don't know that I fucking grieve through myself while I let y'all grieve and talk mad shit on me.
She would also start an OF page, which itself wasn't disrespectful to Juice WRLD, but it was when she started using her and Juice WRLD's private movies to promote her page. She would also start selling Juice WRLD's old clothes, then she got a new teenage millionaire boyfriend while she was pushing 30.
Not just his clothes, but his hair, his underwear, like, oh my gosh, his teeth, bro. Pushing 30 is crazy, and I know none of that money that he's been making from his songs is going to her, it's going to that damn label.
He was seen wearing Juice's jewellery. Overall, his relationship with Ali Lotti had some bumps and cracks. However, that is all relationships, they are never perfect. And the majority of the time, the two were insanely happy, ready to have kids, get off substances, and get married. But unfortunately, due to his passing, those plans never came to fruition. And that wraps up the video. Of course, we know Juice was a sad boy emo rapper his entire life, having many tough relationships, but after finding Ali Lotti, he changed his ways. Once he released Death Race for Love, you could tell, the music was switched up and he was happy. He was writing about heartbreak, more about how good his relationship is. But these past relationships definitely left him scarred and definitely played a big part in his addiction and ultimately his death.
Boy, oh boy.